Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we are continuing with our life coach training program, and today I'm going to talk to you about depression. Now we have covered anxiety, and as I told you, we have the whole idea of anxiety and overcoming anxiety and also depression in our book Positive Islamic Psychology, where we give you the idea of how you're going to overcome the challenges of anxiety and depression using PICBT, that is Positive Islamic Cognitive Behavior Therapy. And we have in our YouTube under Positive Islamic PIP, Islamic Psychology PIP, we have more than 100 videos covering Positive Islamic Cognitive Behavior Therapy, which is a new approach, a holistic approach using the whole framework of Islamic idealism, metaphysics and way of life. So that's why it's very important for you to download this book, Positive Islamic Psychology, a transcendent model to achieve peace, happiness and success. It's free of charge, and even our certified life coach is also free of charge. Go to the website and then islamic-psychology.net and then register yourself, and slowly but surely we will train you to first strive to make yourself stable and happy and joyful in life, and then help your family, then your small community, and grow and have a better vision and mission to help shape the ummah towards a positive ummah in the 21st and 22nd century, inshallah. So this is the program that we are doing. And then in depression now, we have this whole situational condition where the disease of this 21st century is anxiety and depression. For a very, very small thing, they become depressed, and for a very small thing, they commit suicide. And this is happening at a higher and higher pace. For example, when they fail an exam in the high school exam, they just go to the highest building and jump, or they go even to the school building and jump off, or they get into the depressive situation where they harm themselves, they cut themselves. And these are people who are coming from the middle class, upper middle class. They are not talking about the poor people who are suffering. They are not refugees, they are not hungry, they are not homeless, but they are having a depressive state, because the whole idea of living in the 21st century, its stresses and its challenges without the balance of spirituality is giving a lot of emptiness in their life. And the only solution is coming back to Islam, and that is what is our firm belief. That's why we have our approach, Positive Islamic Psychology, a transcendent model to achieve peace, happiness and success in the 21st century. Without Islam, without positive ideation in terms of our way of life, of our ubudiyah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we'll never have peace, happiness or success. So that's the side effect of atheism, materialism, secularism, which now is becoming the prominent worldview, leaving our young people helpless, homeless, in the sense of they got no home in terms of the spiritual home. There's no spiritual home, they're empty inside, and that is the cause of depression. So there are many signs of depression. It's a common and serious medical problem that negatively affects how you feel, how you think, how you act. Depression causes a feeling of sadness, loss of interest in life, loss of interest in hobby, loss of interest in studying and whatever that you need to do. All right, and it decreases your ability to function in a society, because when you're depressed, how can you serve yourself or your family or your community? And youth depression today is the major problem. Apart from the contagious disease or chronic disease, we have an ever-growing number of youth and depression, which all the medication, they try all kind of medication, but it is not solving the problem. It is getting worse and worse and worse. No doubt there's some, to a certain extent, they can mitigate the situation with some medication, but unless the root cause of the why they are in that state is being resolved through coming back to a holistic, natural, spiritual based life, it will never solve the problem of depression. That is my feeling, and that's a feeling of a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists who are based on the understanding of the nature of our existence on this earth. All right, so it affects how your teenagers think, feel, behave, and probably it can cause the emotional and functional and physical problems that we face today. So there are many symptoms of depression, which we'll give you in a short video. But number one is feeling sad or having a depressed mood. All right, it's not just a short being sad for a while, but it is depressed mood in a long term. Loss of interest in pleasurable activities. For example, you are used to take sports, you give up sports, you love to go, for example, for a walk, you stop walking, you love to do things, you stop the things that you want to do. Change in appetite, you don't feel like eating, or you overeat. A lot of them overeat and they put on a lot of weight. Trouble in sleeping, or sleeping too much. They don't feel like waking up to go to school or going to work. Loss of energy or increase in fatigue. Feeling worthless or guilty. They feel guilty because they didn't pass the exam, or they feel guilty because they cannot get into the university, or they feel guilty because they lost their job through VSS and whatever it is. Number 8, difficulty in thinking, concentrating and making decisions. They cannot think clearly. Their mind is foggy and they are becoming very difficult in making any decision. Number 9, angry outbursts, irritability, frustration, and even angry at very small matter with themselves, with their family members, and with society as a whole. Number 10, tiredness and lack of energy, even for small tasks. They just don't have the energy to do it, because when you are in depressive state, you actually lack of energy. You just don't feel like doing anything, and that feeling becomes a very natural thing of not doing anything. Number 11, slow thinking, speaking or body movement. And number 12, thoughts of death, thought of suicide, thought of self-harm, thought of not wanting to live, and so on. So these are the many things that we face, and just to summarize that, I'm giving you a video to just give you an understanding of how we can then look at the symptom of depression and come back. Remember, we have all the material in very great detail in our book, and in more than 100 videos in this. You go to the earlier videos when we talk about PICBT, Positive Islamic Cognitive Behavior Therapy, and these various videos tackle issues of anxiety and depression in very great detail. Inshallah, that will be a formulation for you to overcome your own challenges as well as help others as you become our certified life coach in the future, inshallah.
But that's not always the case, or is it? Let's find out what signs are hinting that you might actually be suffering from the plague of the 21st century. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our new videos. Counting down from number 8, you constantly feel down and tired. Feeling a little down in the dumps from time to time is completely normal. We're only human, and we all have our bad days after all. But when you start feeling hopeless and don't want to get out of bed for days, that's where it gets into dangerous territory. According to experts, if your lack of energy lasts for days on end, even though your routine hasn't changed much, and you feel tired as soon as you wake up, this may be your body's way of telling you that you are, in fact, depressed. Analyze your current situation thoroughly and take it seriously, as constant fatigue is one of the main symptoms of depression. Number 7, your self-esteem has hit rock bottom. With depression and constant fatigue, you might start seeing yourself as useless. You'll constantly dwell on your past failures, and your mind will be flooded with memories of every stupid mistake you've ever made. You'll probably see them as proof that you're completely worthless. An especially serious problem of depression that should never be taken lightly are suicidal thoughts. Remember that there is help out there. You can call 1-800-SUICIDE or 1-800-784-2433, or 1-800-273-TALK, 1-800-273-8255. If these hotlines don't serve your country, your local emergency number can help you out as well. Number 6, you have concentration and memory problems. According to doctors, when you're depressed, your concentration suffers big time too. You start forgetting about important things and have trouble remembering names or other details. Listening to someone talk or reading a book becomes a challenge since you can't focus on what's going on. Making decisions is incredibly difficult too, since you just can't put your finger on anything or ignore this hopeless feeling inside of you. However, mental fog alone may not signal depression. If out of all of these signs, only this one applies to you, chances are that depression isn't really the issue at hand. Number 5, you have trouble sleeping. Another part of your life that significantly changes when you have depression are your sleeping patterns. This can be in the form of either insomnia or sleeping for longer hours. When you're suffering from depression, you crave more sleep even after a full night's rest. You have no energy and feel like you could spend the whole day in bed. And it's not like a fun day in bed surrounded by snacks, binge watching your favorite show. We're talking about lying in bed all day, doing nothing, with no desire to get up. If this sounds familiar to you, consider it another red flag that you need to get some help. Number 4, your weight changes. With all the emotional roller coasters you go through when you have depression, your appearance is bound to change. And the main thing that depression affects is your weight. It can go either way too. You all of a sudden gain several pounds, or your weight drops drastically. This could be due to constantly feeling starved no matter how much you eat, or you stop feeling hunger at all. Just like with your emotional state, your eating habits become unstable. Specialists say that if there's an unintentional change of more than 5% of your body weight within a month, it could be a sign of depression. Number 3, nothing brings you pleasure. Your favorite food, TV show, or video game that once brought you so much joy is now just sort of meh. Even people that you adore and love hanging out with don't seem to do it for you anymore. You're constantly bored, tired, and have no desire to do your lifelong hobby or meet up with your best friend. Another area you may lose interest in is your sex life. Symptoms of major depression include decreased sex drive and even impotence. The key here is to find out whether there's a serious and steady reason for it. And if there's not, then it's most likely depression that's to blame. Number 2, you experience mood swings. When you're depressed, you constantly feel sad, anxious, or irritated, and you probably can't even explain why. You suddenly become extremely short-tempered with a lack of basic tolerance. Everything and everyone annoys you to no end. This can get especially scary when it turns into reckless behavior or substance abuse as an attempt to get rid of all these emotions. But it's not like you're just ticked off all the time. You go through mood swings. You can go from a fit of rage to a puddle of tears in the blink of an eye. Rapid breathing, sweating, and extreme nervousness can be especially alarming symptoms of anxiety and panic attacks associated with severe depression. Number 1, your health deteriorates. Again, emotional outbursts and a constant feeling of hopelessness throw not only your weight out of whack, but your overall health too. It's really common for depressed people to suddenly start experiencing aches and pains, most frequently in the joints or back. Digestive problems are a huge concern in this situation too, especially when they aren't brought on by something obvious like something you ate. And these symptoms don't go away with usual medical treatment either, because your mental state is involved. The earlier you can deal with your depression, the easier it'll be for you to get back to good health. So if at least 3 or 4 of these signs hit home for you, it most likely means that you have some form of depression. Basically, the more signs you're showing, the more depressed you are. Don't forget that to be a symptom of depression, all of these conditions should be continuous, not just one off day. So now that we've found out that it is, in fact, a problem, the important question is, what's the treatment for depression and how can it be prevented in the future? However, there are some things you can do to make the process of healing a bit faster. According to psychotherapist Sean Grover, there are steps you can take in 3 areas of your life to make your mental state better. The first thing to take care of is your body. Start doing 30-minute workouts at least 3 times a week. Get at least 7 hours of sleep a night, and add more of your favorite foods to your diet, especially sugary ones. Taking care of yourself this way will certainly make you feel much better. The second and equally important part is your mind. Try to explore the world around you as if you never have before. Enjoy some poetry, spend time with yourself, take new classes, and open up your mind to new experiences. Sure, it'll be difficult at first with your loss of interest, but the more you do it, the easier it'll get to develop genuine excitement. There are tons of opportunities around you, so go grab them up. Finally, your spirit should also get a dose of treatment too. The best thing you can do here is meditation. Through it, you can learn to understand and listen to yourself on a deeper level. Plus, after a good meditation session, all of the depressing thoughts disappear, opening up more space for new experiences and knowledge in your head. There are also a couple of methods to prevent possible depression. A study published in the New England Journal of Medicine found that some forms of depression can be treated with natural substances. This is especially true of so-called seasonal depression, which can be helped by taking a lot of vitamin D. However, consultation with your doctor is a must. Experts also recommend to start seeing a doctor earlier and doing it regularly. After all, any illness is easier to combat if it's observed from the get-go. So if you found out that you have depression, don't worry. It's a problem that can and should be resolved. Plus, the path you have to take to get out of it will help you find out more about yourself and appreciate not only your own uniqueness, but also the people and the world around you. And that's not so bad, is it? You shouldn't go through this alone, though. So see a doctor immediately. They'll know how to make the path easier and shorter for you. If you suspect that your friend or family member is battling depression, provide a shoulder for them to cry on and make sure that they get help. It may seem like it's something you can deal with on your own, but the truth is that this condition is not to be taken lightly and must be treated with the help of a doctor. And what about you? Do you have any methods of your own on how to fight depression? Tell us in the comments below. Don't forget to click subscribe to stay on the bright side of life.